Here is another example of graphing a linear equation. This topic is coming from Chapter 3 in your ALEKS integrated textbook. The equation we're about to graph is 4x minus 3y equals 9, and like in the last example, you might think, hey, let's play the y equals mx plus b card and rearrange this equation so that we can read off the slope and the y-intercept. That would work, but I just want to do a different example, a different way of doing it, so never mind. Forget y equals mx plus b. Instead, what we're going to do this time is we're going to find out both of the intercepts of this line. In other words, we're going to find out where this line crosses the x-axis and where it crosses the y-axis. So, the y-intercept. The y-intercept happens when the line crosses my y-axis. If I'm at a point on the y-axis, my x-coordinate equals 0. And so I can go to the equation of the line and I can ask it. I can say, hey line, what y-coordinate do you have when x is 0? And I ask my equation that question by plugging in x equals 0 and solving for y. So when I've plugged in x equals 0, that term goes away. I have minus 3y equals 9 or y equals negative 3. And so my y-intercept is x equals 0, y equals negative 3. And so now I can place it. I'll make every tick mark half a unit. So there's 1, 2, here's negative 3 on the y-intercept. That's one point that this line hits. Now I'm going to ask for the x-intercept. The x-intercept is where the line crosses the x-axis. On the x-axis, wherever this line hits it, my y-coordinate will be 0. And so once again, I can go back to the line or its equation and say, hey equation, if y is 0, what x value goes with it? And so I will plug in a 0 for y into the equation to ask that question. When y is 0, what x value goes with it on this line? That gives us 4x equals 9, or x equals 9/4. And 9/4 is, call it 2 1/4, or 2.25. And so the x-intercept is the point that has a y-coordinate of 0 and an x-coordinate of 9/4. 9/4 is the best way to represent that number, but I won't complain too much if you use one of the other two. Maybe a little bit, but not too much. And so here I'm going to go to the x-axis and I'm going to locate this point. 9/4, I'm going to go over by 2 units, 1, 2, and then about 1/4. So right there, this is x equals 9/4, and now I have 2 points on my line. Uh-oh. I ripped my straight edge in half. That wasn't very clever. Okay, well, here's a business card right next to it, so I'm going to use that for a second. And there we go. There's our line. It continues, but that's its trajectory.